My name's Patrine McCrohan and I've got my own small business called Bridging the Landscapes. And I've been working with the Yiriman women for a number of years now. One of the fundamental gaps, as I've seen it over the years, is trauma focus. That a lot of the initiatives that happen don't have that underpinning support of being able to provide people with an opportunity to understand better their internal world and the impact that that's having on the kinds of things that they'd like to, to do in their lives, including social enterprises, jobs, anything, being in their families, going to school, all of those kind of things. So one of my aims is to provide the Yiriman women with a partnership that enables them to have a trauma focus as well alongside their social enterprise activities. And that to me is the most empowering thing, I believe, that can happen for Aboriginal people at the moment, because I constantly see this falling over of different initiatives that would ordinarily succeed and go forward. But because of the underlying intergenerational trauma that's happened in our country over the last 250 years, that is not able to happen.
Earlier this year, we had a meeting, and everyone in that meeting was talking about the importance of healing and moving forward in strength as units and traditional knowledge. And as part of that meeting, we had an introduction to a way of healing that came from the other side of the world. So we had a Skype connection with two ladies who are here and going to work with us over these 2 days, and that's Laurie and Kate. And they've come from a long way away to help bring some ideas with them about healing and being strong. And they would like to learn from you ladies as well about the Aboriginal women's way of being strong and working and healing one another and keeping strong and working forward, and especially being on country.
Yeah, swing, yeah.
All the creative. We've gathered here so that we can learn from one another and that we can learn some techniques that we can also carry forward and keep community, keep strong in ourselves and carry that culture forward.
Singing first one. That's the mina. Ngane bagal punya ban changadi nangadi forrat.
Yeah.
Ngaji pali ngane lo panen ngabulu made ngale jaralo. Ngane lo bala banjum. Ngane mina chama. Iya la kurmar.
Yeah.
Abdad na jawam chagen hon weben jingam jalan pok mam majwa ngamali.
My grandmother was just saying the songs that she sang, the first one, Mina Mina, that was handed to her. It was for her skin group, and she was given that song by another two old ladies, that sisters that handed that song to her. And the second one was her mother's song.
Whilst I'm very committed to the idea that culture holds its own solutions, absolutely, and that was the fundamental premise for the Yiriman Bush Knowledge and Enterprise Development. That absolutely underpins it. But the elders have told me that those solutions don't include a whole range of things that are now happening in our modern world. And so the idea to bring two things together, the Aboriginal cultural side, the strength of that for people to reconnect after so much dispossession and so much tragedy of them losing so much, including language and country and culture, and still having to fight for different aspects of that, and to bring in some modern tools.
Hi, my name's Kate Hilder and I'm a co-founder of Mind Heart Connect, which is a business that was established to really bring the knowledge to all of society to really understand that connection between our mind and our hearts and how that impacts us on every level in our lives. Through establishing the business, one thing that we were very clear on was that we were very committed to establishing a foundation arm to our business with the desire to be able to bring techniques and tools to the broader community and to people who are not necessarily able to access these tools on a day-to-day basis. I was fortunate enough to meet and now partner with Dr. Laurie Layden from Project Light from the US, and we've set up Project Light Australia as the first component of the projects that we want to move forward with the foundation.
I'm Laurie Layden, and I'm the developer of Project Light, which arose from my experience working in post-genocide environments, specifically Rwanda, in which I brought my trauma healing skills and strategies to orphan head of households and widows who were directly affected by the genocide there. And each year I would return with these skills, but realized that there was something more that was needed. And so I developed the 5 pillars of Project Light. The first pillar and the foundational pillar is trauma healing techniques. The second is heart-centered leadership skills, conflict transformation skills, an opportunity for economic sustainability and community building. And the notion is that if we nurture our next generation of traumatized individuals, they have an opportunity to become heart-centered leaders. And so we began in Rwanda, and then we've been establishing this new form of humanitarian aid in various countries, and now we're happy to be bringing it to Australia, working specifically with Indigenous and refugee youth who are so underserved. But what I have found in my 11 years doing humanitarian work is that people misunderstand what trauma is. And so trauma is a brain-based dysfunction, and it creates an interference pattern in the brain. And unless we used brain-based somatic release therapies, the trauma does not go away. It gets stored in the brain, and it interferes with our ability to learn, to be happy, to function, to focus. So what we've learned is that trauma healing is the glue that holds together those 5 pillars. And what's often happened in a good attempt to bring relief is we focus on education, we focus on infrastructure, we focus on microloans and social entrepreneurship. But without the trauma healing to hold it all together, these processes and these programs don't succeed. So we've had a great success in Rwanda. We're really looking forward to that success here in Australia.
So the key focus with the foundation was really to be able to bring tools and techniques to our population, refugees, Indigenous population, where we really feel that there is a gap there and that they are underserved in a lot of ways, and a lot of the programs that are already being delivered and being delivered by organisations that are exceptionally good at what they're doing, but we're really feeling like we can help plug that gap with these trauma-informed tools.
So we're here in the Ngumpan community working with elders and youth in the community to teach them and introduce these concepts of trauma and stress relief, and also to introduce the concept of resiliency. In my travels the world over, human beings have two traits, and that is the ability to be traumatized, but also the ability to be resilient again. And these techniques return us to resiliency, to our whole being. And so we've spent the last couple of days working with the elders and working with youth to introduce these concepts. And they seem to be pretty hungry for them, and they're feeling the relief that can come very quickly and how that can affect their daily lives, and essentially bringing them some sense of hope that they can regulate these difficult feelings inside and that there can be a resolution to them.
Just tapping on your hand, on your head, above the eyes, and underneath your eyes, under your nose, and on your cheek, and chest, and underneath your arms.
With this technology now, the tapping, I think it's a good one to reach out to younger people. If you can get them with the tapping and to make them feel good about themselves, maybe then they'll want to learn the traditional ways and the songs.
How to calm down and not think about that thing what bothers you, and it helps you get over what's that problem.
Use one to bring the other ones in to learn more about their ways and what's theirs, what's going to be theirs if they're willing to work for it.
So we're really looking forward to seeing how the project develops and expands.